Okay, thank you very much for coming. So please first introduce yourself and tell us the reason why you came to Japan.
Well, first things first, my name is Victor. I am from Brazil, more specifically Rio de Janeiro,
Awesome.
of the nice statue, Chris statue. And I came to Japan, actually right now I'm studying computer engineering at the Tokyo Institute of Technology, there near Meguroko, actually Okayama Station. So it's one of the most famous engineering schools in Japan and in the world of Asia itself. So I was actually thinking, okay, what am I going to do in my graduate school, or like what am I going to do after I finish my bachelor studies? So there is one professor in my home university in Rio that he actually studied here for like 15 years or something in the Tokyo Institute of Technology. So when I met him and I was talking to him, I got really interested, like, okay, I can go to Japan, and he told me about this scholarship that we could apply and make some tests, some interviews, and if I got it, I could come here, and actually that's what I'm doing right now.
Please tell us about the image you had about Japan before coming and how did it change after you were here?
I mean, it's funny to think about it, because after I arrived in Japan the first time, lots of ideas that I have completely changed. Like before, when I thought about Asia, I was actually thinking about Japan, because I didn't really know a lot about other countries, because it's so far away. When you think about Brazil and you think about Japan or China or Thailand, it's so far. We don't really, how can I say, we cannot really grasp how is the culture, what are the people over there doing and whatever. And we get so much stuff from the US that we don't really have this much touch with Asian cultures. So after I came here and I realized and I met all these people, like when I met the Koreans, when I met the Japanese, when I met the Thai people, I really started thinking about that Asia is much more than I actually thought about. And it's quite fun. And even Japan, when in Brazil we think the Japanese are very straight and like very, how can I say, strict in everything they do, and they're so organized and everything is so perfect. Of course we have lots of nice things here in Japan, like the streets are so clean and everything is so organized. Oh my god, the train system is awesome. But other things as well are different, like the way people relate to each other, and sometimes the distance or the, how can I say, the formal conversations and relations that people have are quite different from my home country, especially Brazil. So it's been interesting experience so far.
Okay. Tell us about Rio. You grew up in Rio, right? So what are the differences between Rio and Tokyo?
Okay, actually, because my father was from the army, so we actually moved a lot through Brazil. So I lived actually in Rio, and then I lived in some northeast of Brazil where they have the nice beaches and the nice summer, like Salvador, very famous carnival, the most famous carnival I think, and also in the north of Brazil. But I spent most of my time in Rio, so I was born there and I lived there most of my life. I did my undergraduate studies there, and what I can say is like people in Brazil in general, when comparing to the Japanese, we have much more of a close connection with each other. Like when you have something important to do, okay, you do it. If you have a meeting, if you have some presentation, some important work, we try to concentrate and do what we have to do. But most of our lives is focused on how we enjoy life with our friends and with our family, and when we go out for a beer or something after work. And it's much more, how can I say, I won't say friendly, but it's a much more warm and close relationship experience than we have in Japan, so to speak. But when we talk about organization and like the structure of the towns, I think downtown Rio is very likely the same as, I mean, it's very similar to downtown Tokyo, but the key difference that I think of is like, maybe because Japan is like such an old country and they had so much time to develop their ideas and their culture, some things that we could not do yet in Brazil are already done for a long time here in Japan. So as I was talking to you, mainly for me, the biggest impact when I came here was like the public transportation system. Like the trains, the way you have so many lines and so many, how can I say, just to be able to enter a train and know when the train will come and when the train will arrive is awesome, and we don't have that in Brazil at all. I mean, São Paulo, which is like the business capital of Brazil, they have a much better transportation system, but still very far away from what we have here.
I see. What about things that you really like and things you don't like about Japan?
I mean, I'm here for a very short time, but one thing that I can say that I really enjoy is, although I said those things about how different we relate to each other in both countries, when I talk to some, of course I don't know all Japanese people, but when I talk to some Japanese people that I meet and some friends and we have some time to enjoy some meal or whatever, or we talk about anything, like countries or like soccer or anything, I really feel that they are nice people. Like, there are lots of nice people here, and lots of, how can I say, very sincere, and I don't know if there's a good expression for it, but when I talk to them and I enjoy time with them, I really like it. And I feel that we have a very sincere relationship, even though we just met. I mean, we are friends on high school, we are friends for studying, or we're studying Japanese, or we're doing something else. But one thing that I really don't like, but maybe it's because I'm from Brazil and I'm from a very different culture, but there are some rituals in the Japanese daily life, if so to speak, that I think are very difficult maybe to get used to. So for instance, one day I came into my laboratory and everybody was coming back, like last month everybody was coming back for some trip or something, and everybody brought something from where they want, like the omiyage thing. So they bought some memento or some snacks, something else from other countries. But I actually brought something, but I didn't brought so many because I actually didn't know how many people would be in school and whatever. So I bought something for the professor because I thought there was only one professor, but there was actually two. And that got me into some trouble because I forgot to give a gift to one of those professors. But I mean, usually it's fine because they know I'm a foreigner and I'm not used to it. But lots of these small details I think are quite interesting to note.
Okay. Could you please give a message to students or people around the world thinking about going to Japan to study or to work? Would you encourage them to come?
I think they should definitely come. I mean, I think everyone should definitely go abroad and experience life. I mean, even if for 3 months, 6 months, everyone should do it. Because it changed my life completely after I came here for 6 months. Only 6 months, and I met all these people and I saw all these things, and I realized that all life, I mean, there are so many things we can do in life, and if I haven't come here, I would never realize that, like all the places we could go and all the people that we could meet around the world. So definitely they should come, and if they have any interest in Japan, they should spend some time in Japan because it's an awesome experience, and how can I say, only coming here to find out.
Okay, so thank you very much for coming to do this interview. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.